While cartilage is an important part of the vertebrate skeleton, it is actually known in some invertebrate groups. So it is known in the head of mollusks where it can protect the nervous system. It is known around the feeding apparatus of brachiopods and polychaetes. It is around the nervous system and gills of some arthropods like horseshoe crabs. And in hemichordates, it is in the proboscis and gills. So cartilage is not a vertebrate tissue. Apparently, it was present in the last common ancestor of protostomes like mollusks, arthropods, brachiopods, etc., and deuterostomes such as the hemichordates and the vertebrates. Not only do cephalochordates like this lancelet possess cartilage, like some of the arthropods and mollusks, they also then share a few features with vertebrate cartilage that the other invertebrates lack. And so around their gill slits, they have collagen and a cartilage-like matrix. The larval oral structures, the cirri, which are sensory structures allowing them to be more active predators, possess true cellular cartilage, unlike other invertebrates. And in the synthesis of this cartilage, they utilize a number of genes that they share with the vertebrates, such as collagen, fibroblast growth factor and its receptor, SoxD, SoxE, and a cell ID marker of neural crest cells, which they do not have, but nevertheless express some of the proteins. By the early Cambrian, fish and vertebrates had evolved, and cartilage was the only tissue present in their skeletons. This cartilage was primarily produced by neural crest cells in the head. This is a tissue type which only vertebrates possess, forming in embryos at the crests of the neural folds. These neural crest cells, whether in jawless fish or in mammals, share the same genes which are expressed, meaning that the formation of cartilage is a shared ancestral feature. In addition, these early fish now used cartilage in a few ways not found in lancelets or any other organism. Cartilage underlay more of the brain and formed an otic capsule around the ear. There were joints between pieces of cartilage. Muscle could attach to the cartilage. And while not in hagfish, which only possess cartilage rays in their tail fins, lampreys actually possessed rays of cartilage down their back above the notochord. This was the beginnings of vertebrae, which is why lampreys, but not hagfish, can be considered as true vertebrates. And so, thus, these jawless fish were using cartilage as the primary tissue of their skeletons and using it in new ways, which all later vertebrates would share. By the end of the Cambrian period, fish had evolved bone tissue, and by the Ordovician through the Silurian, jawless fish had developed bony plates in their head made of dermal bone, which overlay the cartilage, what was known the chondrocranium. And so while the bony aspect of the skull became more and more important, there was still a cartilaginous aspect which lay under the brain, which surrounded the eye socket and the otic capsule around the ear and around olfactory structures, and many of the bones which are possessed in the modern vertebrate head are composite bones, being composed not only of bone from the dermatocranium, but also of cartilage which is later converted into bone. So modern vertebrates still possess a prominent condocranium, at least during embryological development, and then even cartilage from the gill arches in the splanchnocrinium. And so human bones, like the occipital bone, or the temporal bone, or the sphenoid bone, while these are solid bone in adult humans, they contain portions derived from the cartilaginous condocranium of embryos, which is derived from the ancestral cartilaginous condocranium. In addition, the majority of the human skeleton is composed of bone, but endochondral bone. It forms as cartilage in the embryo and then is gradually converted to bone. But during the majority of early life, there is a growth plate, an epiphyseal plate made of cartilage, which is where this bone is actively growing. And so, not only is cartilage an important part of the skeletons of advanced vertebrates, such as humans, it was an important part in the formation of many bones. And going back to the early vertebrates, cartilage was the first part of the skeleton.